Leash, Leash. I don't want to harp on your body shape, but you've actually dropped a fair bit of weight. I was just wondering how much and whether it was actually a thing that you're trying to do. I think my source tells me that after the British Open, you thought you might need to lose a bit. Are you doing anything different? Is it a thing, or has it just happened?
I don't think it ever just happens not to me anyway. No, I just wanted to change my eating habits a little bit. You know, like I said before, I've had a few back issues popping up, and carrying. I think I've lost. I think it's 8 kilos, so not a whole lot of weight, but you put 8 kilos in a suitcase, carry that around all the time. It makes a difference. So it took a little bit of time to adjust, for my body to adjust golf-wise. But yeah, I feel better for it now. I just try to cut out sugar and bread, really. That's about it, and cut down a little bit on the beer. But that's going to be easier said than done while I'm home in Australia. So yeah, it was a conscious thing that I did, and glad I did it.
Rod?
Mark, 2 big weeks, 2 totally different formats, both very important. I'm sure you'd love to win the National Open. You want to win the President's Cup next week. How do you deal with that mentally as well as physically? It's going to be a constant pressure for the next 10 days, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think managing time well, both weeks really, is important. And then switching on and off between shots, not stressing about what might happen or might not happen. That's a bad habit for me, or it has been in the past. So doing that will help just conserve energy. I think that's a big thing. And maybe, making sure I don't swing at it too hard, and do something that I don't really need to. So, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. But just time management and yeah, I think that's the biggest thing where I can save energy and prepare. But yeah, it is a big 2 weeks. 2 tournaments that I really want to win. Every Australian golfer wants to win the National Open. And then I've been on 3 losing President's Cup teams, and I don't really want it to be 4.
Bernie?
Leash, in shedding 8 kilograms, was it? How many shirts and pair of trousers did you have to get rid of?
How many what?
How many pairs of pants and shirts did you have to get rid of?
I had enough where I didn't have to get rid of any. I had enough. 8 kilos is not that much on me, really. Waist size might have gone down an inch, maybe, so it's not really a full pant size. Shirts are, if they're a bit loose, that's not a problem. I'm sure I'll take care of that in the next month or so.
Listen, and just one more question out of left field. You mentioned beers. I've been reading that you're starting making your own beer. How did that come about? And how good is the beer?
Oh, it's great.
Where is it?
It's so we got a full strength beer in America, Leishman lager, and we've had that for about 3.5 years. We're bringing out a mid-strength beer in Australia. It's going to be coming out middle of December. So that's also going to be called Leishman lager, but they're 2 different products, but both good products. Good beer. Like I said, mid-strength. So I've found that the Australian beer is a fair bit stronger than what the stuff in America is. So to have a mid-strength, I think more than half the beer market is mid-strength in Australia now. So we want to try and get into that market, and hopefully we get a fair share of it.
Mark?
Firstly, would you like a taster for that beer? I'm volunteering, if that'd be all right. How do you rate your game at the moment, and how do you rate your chances over the weekend? Is there anything you need to work on as you go into this week?
I've been working pretty hard on my driving. I feel like that let me down a fair bit this year. Spent some time with Dennis, my coach, Dennis McDade, in Florida last week. Flew down to Florida to get some warm weather. Worked out what was happening. For feel like I'm driving it well, but I need to make sure I drive it really well this week. I think that's a big key for me, and then distance control with my irons. I think that's going to be important with the wind if it gets up, not leaving myself in any bad positions. And I mean, putting's always a big one. You know, you're not going to win an Australian Open if you don't putt well.
Mark, Patrick from the ABC. I know you're probably in tournament mode, but I wanted to ask you just about golf broadly. This week there's the All Abilities Championship happening as well. I know you travel everywhere, go to so many countries and tournaments. What does it mean as an Aussie coming back to play at home and seeing this kind of thing going on in Australian golf, sort of embracing everyone? Yeah,
I think it's awesome. I remember the World Cup last year at Metropolitan. It was a similar event. I'm not sure if it was the same event, but it was a similar event, and I think it's amazing. You know, being able to interact with those guys and girls, and how good their golf games are, it's really impressive. Like I say, it's great. I'd like to take any opportunity I can to learn, and you know, the talent that they have is pretty impressive, and it's great that they're going to be out here. I'm playing amongst us, I believe. So, yeah, I'm excited to see some of them play again, watch them on the range, and you know, I'm sure they'll have a great time. It's a good opportunity, and yeah, I think it's great what the Golf Australia have done.
How far do you think golf has to go to be, you know, fully inclusive, even men v women?
I mean, I think it's got a long way to go, but I think they're quite different products. I think, not in good or bad ways. I just think they're very different. So, yeah, I mean, it's got a fair way to go, but I think they're doing a lot of things to go in the right direction.
You talked about your desire to win at home. In reflecting back on what's happened in the past to you in the Open and other Australian tournaments, have you come across anything that strikes you that you did wrong? Do you think that you've chased too hard almost, or what exactly has it been, do you think?
Yeah, I think over the last couple of years I've done a better job of it. I've had chances the last 2 years to win tournaments in Australia. I think before, say, 2015, 2016, I think I was either going too hard or relaxing too much. I didn't have that balance. So I think now I've got, you know, I think I treat most events pretty evenly, whether it's, you know, the Bay Hill Invitational or the Masters or the Australian Open or whatever it might be. I try and prepare as well as I can to win that event, and that's what I'm doing this week, preparing as well as I can to try and win it. You know, you don't want to put any event on a pedestal, but it's hard not to put these big Australian events on a pedestal, probably, you know, like majors as well. You know, you want to try a little bit harder, but sometimes that's not very good for your golf game, so you've got to work out how to do what's best for you.
Yeah, mate, he kind of stole my thunder there, but do you get experience from when you've had to do like the WGC into a major? Is that overreaching to say that these 2 weeks sort of feel like that? Big event into big event?
Yeah, it is close to that, yeah. You said WGC into major?
You know, it used to be Bridgestone into the PGA, and you guys don't usually do that, but you've had experience doing that before.
It's definitely similar to that, because I mean, I don't know if there's two events that I want to win more than this event and the President's Cup. Like I said, I've played this a lot of times and never won it, and I've played the President's Cup 3, soon to be 4 times, and haven't won that. So, I mean, I've just got to play good, do what I can to play well, because I know that I'm not going to win this week if I don't play well, and I'm not certainly, you know, we're not going to win as a team next week if we don't play well as a team. So, yeah, to have 2 weeks in a row where you really want your game peaking for the whole time is a little different. But you know, like I said, every event you want to try and win. I know you're not going to win every event, but this is a little bit unique in that respect.
Yeah, you're a knockabout bloke. You're typical Aussie. You've gone all over the world, done great things. But when you come back here, do you feel at all like the big guy in the room out there on the range? Do people treat you higher on a pedestal? Can you feel that? I know you don't react to it, but can you feel that?
Not really. I mean, it's we're just all out there trying to do a job. It's early in the week, you're trying to prepare for a tournament. Thursday, Friday, you're trying to get into a good position to win the tournament, and then hopefully you're on the range late Sunday. That's what you want to do. Try and be that last bloke off the range Sunday. And I don't think I'll get treated any differently to what I have in the past. But
You might have an aura down the stretch against someone with less experience.
I mean, it's a great field this week, but maybe. I don't know. I don't like to think of it as that because, I mean, I've played against, better players and beaten them, and I've played against, so-called players that may not have the name that I do, and they've beaten me. So I feel like, I try and not think like that. It's just, you got to try and get the ball in the hole quicker than everyone else. So.
Last question, please.
There's a real buzz about the field, rightly so, this week, Mark. It's the best Australian Open field we've had for some time. Does that add a little bit of extra spice? If you were going to win an Australian Open, would this be a good one to win, to have your name on?
I mean, they're all good ones to win, but yeah, this is a great field, and I mean, maybe that's a good thing for me because it takes the spotlight off me a little bit and puts it on the other guys because we've got a great Australian contingent and a great international contingent. I mean, it's a great field all around. But every Australian Open has great players. So, like I said, you just got to do what you can to play well and hope you do. Because at the end of the day, it's golf and it can be a funny game. I mean, you think you got it one day and nothing can go wrong, and then the next day you think you're never ever going to break par again. So, great field. I think it's just awesome for the tournament. I'm so happy for the tournament that they got a field like this.